The Judge Joe Brown Show, presented by Valerie Denise Jones. Uncensored truth with a legal twist. Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 929-477-1167. Now, welcome your host, the celebrity consultant, Valerie Denise Jones.
All right, guys. Hello. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday to you. I hope and pray that you are ready to kick off a wonderful weekend. It is All-Star Week here in Charlotte, North Carolina, so we are getting ready, gearing up for some big activity this weekend. So pray for us, pray for our safety, our mindset, our security, because, we are unapologetically Black, Santa telling what we're going to do or where we're going to end up. So, again, just keep us in your prayers and ask God to bless us with a huge hedge of protection. I do not know what just happened here at the start of the show. I heard the intro play twice, but the devil is a lie. We have a great show on board today. We got some great people on board today. We got a great show in store for you today. And I refuse, in the name of Jesus, I refuse to let anything happen today. Absolutely not. Will not happen. I rebuke Satan in the name of Jesus. Okay, so there we go. All right. Guys, please. There's so many people on the line. There's so much I normally talk to you about in the very beginning, but I am not going to have that conversation except to remind you that when your mic is open, please, I can't stress this enough because we share this audio on a plethora of platforms. Please make sure that your background noise is at a minimum. And if your mic is open and you know your mic is open and you have background activity, just mute yourself so I won't have to. That way, when you're ready to interject or engage us in any way, you can, and I don't have to manipulate the board to have you join in the conversation. Welcome to all our international listeners who are in the chat room and those who have chimed in via their computer. I appreciate you guys so much. I love you to life. Thank you so much for everybody who's on the line. Today the board is full of people, so I appreciate you guys so much for showing up on time and not CPT. Hey. All right, 929-477-1167, 929-477-1167. Let's have a great time, guys. Like I said, got a beautiful melanated woman in the building, and I cannot wait to open up her mic and let you guys hear what she's got to say. And then after she and the judge have a conversation, I can't wait to go to break and then let you love on her. There we go. All right, guys. There's so much activity on the board. I was trying to do two things at once. Not happening. Way too many people today. All right, so guys, listen to this, and when we come back, we'll have Tez in the building. She said it's okay for me to call her that. Tez in the building. I love this woman already. All right, see you on the other side.
Tezlyn Figaro, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Tezlyn, tell the people a little bit about yourself for those who may not know.
Okay, so I had an opportunity to work on the Bernie Sanders campaign. I was his former racial justice director, even though Bernie Sanders, I don't think, talks about race enough. We did have people who actually organized for race. Background is pretty diverse. On my own business in Orlando, Florida, putting 300 people to work from the hood on my own dollar, my own dime, never used a government grant or resource for anything or an elected official. Worked for Attorney Benjamin Crump. I was responsible for the House Club rape case, the officer that received 263 years for raping 13 black women. I was the one that lived next door to the police station while we went through that ordeal in order to get him to justice. So just a long background of politics that I won't bore you with. Senator Nina Turner, as you know, who I've worked with for years, but really bringing both sides of the streets. I've been working on concrete roots, which is really important to me, that goes a little bit deeper than grassroots, but actually from the streets, which is why I brought them.
All right, guys. I just played that just because, for the sake of time, I just want to get right to it. Again, you are listening to the Judge Joe Brown show. My name is Valerie Denise Jones. ValerieDeniseJones.com is the website. 929-477-1167. All right, so let's open up her mic. Again, I am really, really excited. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the intro and just the honor. I am blessed, humbled, and eternally grateful anytime I have an opportunity to share insight with your listeners and reach out to new people to have a chance to meet new folks out there as well. So thank you for having me.
Oh, yes. And that was a little bio that you were able to spew out during your interview on the Breakfast Club. Mad love to them. Yeah, definitely. I look up to them so much as well. But is there anything else that you'd like to add before we get into today's interview? Anything that you didn't touch on that you want people to know before we open up the judges' mic?
Well, quickly, I could probably go on stuff I didn't add. I was talking so fast, Valerie, on that interview because we only had a short amount of time, and that was the first time people heard me, the long version of me. So I won't go into anything else that people, probably are not interested in knowing right now, but I do want to make a correction on that interview, on the intro that you played. I said I was responsible for the Hossclaw case, and I want to make that clarification. I was not literally responsible, but I did work with Attorney Benjamin Crump. I was the senior communications crisis director, a consultant, if you will, and I was the one that called Attorney Benjamin Crump that asked him to come represent 13 black women who were raped and were not being represented adequately. And so I was responsible for him connecting with those ladies, and ultimately he ended up representing them. And there's a video out there where he confirms that. So I just want to make sure. So shout out to Attorney Benjamin Crump and the entire team, Demario Simmons, Melvin Hall, and the entire legal team, Attorney Natalie Jackson, who was Trayvon Martin's local attorney. So I want to just clear that up, that it wasn't just me, it was a team of us. So that's the only edit that I said I would make.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us just a little backstory so that people can do their homework? People know that when they listen to the show, they should have three things in front of them: non-alcoholic libations, pen, and paper. So quite often a lot of our listeners, our guests, and we have a few people who show up every week and are part of our panel. Big ups to Maurice Duncan. But, yeah, they're in front of the computer and they're always, like tweeting and Googling and sending out links. But can you give us a little backstory so that we could bring some attention to those 13 women and give us an update if there's been any progression made?
Well, that's probably a show just by itself, and would certainly love to come back and talk about that even in detail, because now the attention has been redirected, and a lot of people are not talking about still what's going on now with the current litigation. But as far as background on the cases that I've worked through, multiple cases, everything about me can be found on www.tezlynfigaro.com, TEZLYNFIGARO, and you can have a chance to pull up my national client profile highlights there, and then you will see the clips and the information about the case. But basically, Officer Hossclaw, at the time, I was living next door. I moved back to Oklahoma City, which is where I am originally from. My family is Louisiana. I always make that known, but I'm from Oklahoma City. And as I moved back, making my way back to Texas, I was at my grandmother's, which was located directly next door to the police station. And so I was living next door to the police station while the police station that Officer Hossclaw was assigned to. At that particular time, he was not, working at that time because the case was going on, but I was still there with his colleagues, people that he worked with daily. That was the station on the east side. The east side of Oklahoma City is the predominantly black side of Oklahoma City. And when I got in town, I noticed that no one was talking about the case to me as loud as they could. It was kind of swept under the rug, and it just wasn't a lot of attention. If this had been 13 black women who were raped by a black officer, I believe it would have been a global issue. So I sat there very frustrated, wanting to do something. I reached out to the current attorney who was representing the ladies at that time. I said, I would love to work to help you bring this case to bring some national attention. He said he was not interested in that. They didn't want the case to be on national attention. So I said, fine. I said, well, I'll just do it without you. Connected with the NAACP, President then and now, Mr. Pruitt, talked with him about how can I find these women. At the time, their names were not known because the case was still going on. And so I had to kind of, work around and see who was who and so forth. And long story short, ended up calling Attorney Crump. And I said, I believe these women are not getting the national recognition that they should, and they're not getting adequate legal representation, in my opinion, from my view. He was able to connect with the women, ultimately represented them. Long story short, Halscroft did receive 263 years. We did a press conference. We created a lot of national attention around that case, but it is still so much more that should be talked about, particularly with the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement was about young black girls who were sexually assaulted, not what it is today, which is Hollywood, particularly Hollywood elites. And again, I'm not minimizing their sexual assault, but it was really focused on black women's sexual assault, and that message has changed. So the Halscroft case should be leading the charge on that, and unfortunately you just don't hear a lot of people talking about it.
Mm-hmm. And what is the current? I just want to ask you two more questions, and I'm going to introduce you to the judge. So where are the women? What's their status? We know what R. Kelly's women, the women who survived R. Kelly, what they're doing, because we see them out writing books and doing interviews and so forth and so on. But these particular women sort of faded to black, and I remember one in particular I attempted to follow, but again, I couldn't find much about her. I found everything because when he cried out in court, that went viral. So we know he went to jail. But the women who he raped, especially the one black lady who, literally, she was raped at the hospital a second time. But do you know the status of the women? Like, is there anything that we can do on this end to kind of bring attention to what's going on?
Out of the 13 women, that's why everything is, to me, is so prophetic. Everything is for a reason. It's interesting. The woman that you just said that was at the hospital and was raped at the hospital, I didn't even know this, but at the time, Valerie, she was the one standing behind me, and when I was talking, and I turned around and I said, you didn't know me, but I knew you, and I've been riding all along with you, because I got really upset at the press conference that day. That went viral as well. Well, come to find out, she was my cousin, Little Ricky's daughter, and I didn't even know that. So everything, for you to bring her name up now, everything to me is for a reason. I didn't know her. She didn't know me, and my aunt was watching that day, and she said, did you know that was Little Ricky's daughter? And I said, no, I didn't, because I hadn't seen him in years. And so the point of that, and why I'm bringing that up, is we're always 6 degrees of separation. There's some type of connection to all of us that we have. And so when we fight for these issues, sometimes you might be literally fighting for your own cousin and not even know it, as I was. So the current state of the women now is them still being on the civil side. The civil matter is still there. There's still people who believe that Halscroft was set up or framed, or disagree with the conclusion, and I know that he's appealing that, and they're still working on that. But the civil matter is still going on, and these women are now once again being drugged back out and turning from victims to actually being treated like the accused. So I would love to come back when I have my notes in front of me so I can give you good, sound information, sound updates. I do have a call scheduled this week with the attorneys, and would love to come back and talk about that when I can talk about it with some good information, for you to spend time on that, if you would have me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We do another show where we talk about domestic violence, so that would probably be great to introduce you to that team as well. They're in that Sister Circle, Atlanta, the TV show. A lot of the women chime in from that circle. Okay, so thank you. I appreciate you for sharing that. And I'm about to open up the judge's mic. Can you tell him why you are so passionate as it relates to politics? What drives you? Why give all your lifeblood to this cause?
Well, I would say lifeblood, money, sacrifice, loss of contracts, life on the line. You mentioned it. I think, like I said on my Breakfast Club interview, it's either in you or it's on you. And it's just in me. I've been getting in trouble my whole life over my mouth. always questioning authority, always, always having something to say, always having an answer to every question. So I just believe in justice. I always have. I always knew I would go to law school, but then I knew I would be on TV. And it wasn't until Court TV came, which is why I'm so excited about being on the phone with Judge Joe Brown, who did TV, legal, and both. But when Court TV came, when I was growing up and watching the O.J. Simpson trial, that's when I realized, I said, okay, I can be an attorney as well as have an opinion on TV, because I knew I couldn't be just a traditional journalist, because I wouldn't play poker face well and I would want to get my opinion out. So I knew that wasn't going to work. So it was a Court TV that actually showed that I could do both. My delay in law school has been because I needed to wait until my child was 11 years old, was old enough, where I could go to school at night. I needed to wait until I was done paying for daycare. I'm a single mom, but still have much help from her dad. But I'm a single mom in the sense of, being by myself. So I needed to wait all of this time to finish my degree. I will complete my master's in June, and then I'm heading off to law school. So it's something I always wanted to do. I just could not do. And so now I finally have that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Much love to you. And I definitely got to talk to you about your position at Fox News, or the fact that you're on there. Judge, welcome. I think we were getting some feedback from you, but hey, you're here. The judge is in the house.
You're not.
Welcome. How are you?
All right, the judge is in the house, but you're not getting any feedback from me because I was on mute. That's not me.
You were on mute? Yeah.
You had me muted, and I also
had
myself muted. So that wasn't me.
Yeah.
I just unmuted when you said,
oh, no. Maybe it's all that electricity between us. It's just all that.
Yeah, well, static and all of that stuff. The sparks get to flying, my dear. Anyway, proud of what you do. Ma'am,
thank
how
you.
are
Happy
you?
Friday.
Yes, and our guest, how are you, ma'am?
I'm doing fine. So excited to be on the phone with you, Judge.
Now, you are interested in these things. I've been doing this going on half a century. Let me give you a chance to do a little analysis. Are you familiar with the Mayor Willie Brown / Camilla Harris situation, at least as it's been out there in terms of what the two parties have written or said about each other?
Yes, I am somewhat familiar of her dating him and so forth. Yes, sir.
All right. Now, would you draw any contrast or any similarities that you might perceive, and I'm playing law professor here, which is what I've done in the past from time to time. Can you see anything that is connected between, say, the story of Mayor Willie Brown and Camilla Harris and, let's say, Bill Cosby and the woman that was the principal subject of the recent trial, second trial, involving Mr. Cosby and his accuser? Do you see any connection between the two situations?
Well, I would say I had a chance to meet former D.C. mayor who told me, and you know who I'm talking about, passed away now, who told me that when I was
He's from Memphis.
No.
He's from Memphis.
I was talking about who's from Memphis?
The D.C. mayor that passed away. Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
the D.C. mayor that passed away, he's from the Memphis area.
Oh, okay. Well, he came to our class and he said that there's three things in politics, sex, lies, and money. So the first thing, that I would say the connection would be is people are interested in sex. They always have been. Who's sleeping with who's doing what. As far as Kamala Harris and Willie Brown, I didn't, to be honest.
Well, let's get away from the political aspect and let's talk about it as a man of prominence and in a position to do something for a young woman who is seeking advancement. That seems to be the situation between the former basketball coach, female, and Bill Cosby, who was seeking advantage at that school and says Cosby exploited her. And the situation with Mayor Willie Brown with 20-something-year-old Camilla Harris, who was seeking advancement. So what's the difference between the two situations?
Well, I guess the difference would be, there's always going to be women from the beginning of time who may seek opportunities to advance, just like there's men who do the same thing, men who will take advantage of that, or men who will allow that. There's always consenting relationships, and then there's relationships that are not consenting, which is rape. So I think there's a big difference between rape and consenting adult relationships. But as far as Bill Cosby, the issue with Bill Cosby, my opinion is when you start using date rape drugs, alleged or true or whatever
drugs?
it is.
You're going to law school. What date rape drugs?
Well, you heard me say alleged because I don't know. So to be honest with you,
I didn't. There was an allegation. Was it was Benadryl?
Correct.
I just took 4 Benadryl about an hour ago because it's warmed up here and my allergies are kicking in. I don't feel any different than I did 5 hours ago, except I'm not stuffed up. So the question is remember, counselor, would-be counselor, Cosby never admitted to giving the woman date rape drug. He said it was a Benadryl tablet.
Yeah.
And,
I don't.
All right. Now, so.
Well, see, I don't know. He could be lying. He
we
could
have
be telling
a picture.
The truth.
Hold on. We have a picture of Kamala Harris sitting at a dinner table with Mayor Willie Brown, whose wife, by the way, was nearby, and Kamala Harris has her hands draped around the stem of a wine glass, which is partially full, sitting at the table. So what's the difference, if any?
Well, the difference, if any, allegedly these women were unaware that he put something in their drink. So whether it was Benadryl, whether it was Advil, whether it was NyQuil, whatever it was without their consent. So to me, the difference is consent or no consent. And so if I want to drink Benadryl, vodka, or anything else, I want to know what it is you're giving to me. So even though you're saying this is not politics, that's how I believe in politics. Give it to me straight. Let me pick and choose what it is I want to deal with. That's why I'm an independent.
All right, now, let me stop you there. Professor's got another question. You are assuming, based on one subject going to trial, that, in fact, there is a history. Would you test that proposition by the woman with her admission that she went over to Cosby's home 17 more times after the supposed incident?
Yeah, certainly I would. I know that. Let me just give you the answer that you're looking for, because I don't really beat around the bush. Folks lie, Judge. We know that. We know people lie. We also know that everybody doesn't tell when they've been sexually assaulted. We also know that people have been put in situations and they continue to do so to advance. So all of those things are things that we talk about. We also know that Bill Cosby has a history of putting stuff in folks' drinks. So maybe Bill Cosby shouldn't have been putting nothing in folks' drinks and maybe being faithful to his wife. So there's that argument there. I did not study that case to give you what was alleged, what was proven. Well, let me finish. I didn't study the case to give you what's alleged and what was proven. What I know is Bill Cosby don't even be putting nothing in nobody's drink. What I know is that, some women lie. There was never an allegation
that he put anything in anybody's drink. It was always with the exception of one model who was interviewed by Whoopi Goldberg. She says he put something in her coffee and she got to feeling strange, but Whoopi Goldberg said, did he try to take advantage of you? She said he was going to, but when I acted like I was high, he called the cab, escorted me down the elevator, put me in the cab, told them to take me home and paid the cab fare.
Now, again, based on what I know, and I could be wrong, and you certainly can correct me, but I'm not a Bill Cosby advocate or attorney. But from what I've read is there were several women that said that they passed out and they knew when they woke up, they knew they had been assaulted or that he manipulated them in some type of way. And I could be wrong. Again, I'm not a Bill. To be honest with you, I don't care nothing about Bill Cosby and what he's doing with them women.
News.
So yeah. And that's,
you
and
on Fox News, so I'm doing a little inside work here. Remember that cover with, was it Vanity Fair, where they had all those women on the cover who said Cosby molested her? Them. Okay, some of those women, and I'm a gentleman, I won't say which ones, I observed at some of those parties back when, and they walked in see-through, no bra on. Within a few minutes to an hour, their bras and their tops were off, so they were walking around the party topless. some of them got naked, and they hit all of the drugs that were at the party, all the drink, and I witnessed 2 or 3 of them coming out of bathrooms after obviously having had sex with somebody they were holding hands with coming out, or caught them on the bed where everybody's coats were having sex and all of that, and they looked like they were into sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And I said, okay. And I saw several of them on multiple occasions at such little Hollywood estate parties. And, you know, now you complain that one particular man who did you what you sought repeatedly to deal with sex, drugs, rock and roll, a celebrity, did what you were seeking, so now all of a sudden it's taking advantage of it. See, I'm trying to get you if you want to be a lawyer and start thinking like one.
Well, let me try to help you. So I'm gonna play lawyer then right now. Maybe you need to get on the stand then and talk about the character of some of these women.
No, I don't.
So
I wasn't called as a witness.
Let me finish. Let me finish my statement. Maybe these women who you know that you've observed of different behavior, maybe you should put their name on blast. See, I don't know those women. I don't know Cosby, and I wasn't there. But what I will tell you is this. Right now with this Me Too movement, and this is probably where we agree or what you're getting to, with this Me Too movement, it is very important that, no, we shouldn't just automatically, because somebody said they did it, we should automatically believe anybody in any case. Let's look at what happened with Justice Somlet. I maybe pronounced his name wrong, with the actor who said that he was just that the Magna people put a rope around his neck and beat him up. Well, come to find out, it looks like the 2 people that were arrested today were 2 people that he knew, 2 black men that were extras on the set. So what I would say is, whether it's the Me Too movement or the LGBT movement or whatever movement that it is that people are getting up and roar about and immediately blaming men or immediately blaming the white guy or immediately blaming whoever based on one person's observation, I think it's important that black people particularly always want to seek justice. We always have to get both sides of the story. We always need to hear the complete investigation. We always need to take into account what the witnesses said, which makes sense, what is logical. And then we need people like Judge Joe Brown to get on the case and say, no, I'm sorry, I done seen this woman butt naked standing on tables. Now, that didn't mean that she still could not get raped. That doesn't mean that no doesn't mean no. What it means is we need all the information at the table. So I don't know anything about that case with Bill. There you go.
Very good answer, Sue. Now, I'll give you another one. Let's talk about another situation here that's relevant to this. You said politics has always been about 3 things, and one of them is sex. Well, that's not really too true. That's recent. I remember being at D.C. as an intern for a Washington, D.C. think tank, and 14th Street in U. There was a Walgreens drugstore there right at the strange intersection, a fountain and a couple of hotels, several hotels. And I remember White House Secret Service being down there trying to pick up holes to bring back to the White House for Richard Nixon. I have in recent times met a child of LBJ's by a woman named Marie Brown that I met on multiple occasions at some conferences. He looks just like LBJ, and the boy was born in 1965. He was in the White House. I also met his half-brother, who has a little tinge of coffee in him, and he was born in 1966 while LBJ was in the White House, and purportedly mother is someone that had been one of the White House secretaries. Let's see. I've talked to somebody, Secret Service connected, now dead, indicates that what happened when Marilyn sang happy birthday to JFK, she had JFK sitting in a straight back chair in the White House basement with the whole Washington press corps there, male, and she stripped stark naked, pulled his pants down, gave him a head job, and swallowed with great flourish. And nobody let a peep of that come out other than that she sang happy birthday to him. That's been going on for years, but until the Clinton administration, it seems nobody paid any attention to it. But that seems to have coincided with the development of tabloid journalism into the universal journalistic method. perhaps sex at one time was not so much a creature of politics as it was fourth section in the newspaper, last page, last column, they had a gossip column. And then you had the development of Globe, Star, National Enquirer, and they went that way, and now everybody's that way. So maybe that's not traditional in politics.
Well, I don't know. I disagree. Just to correct you, Judge, this is really fun. I'm having a good time on this show. I did not say that sex has always been a part of politics. What I said was D.C. Mayor Marion Barry. I didn't use
Marion Barry.
That's correct. I said he said. Yeah, I said he said sex was always a part of politics.
That's great.
That's right. So we got to correct the record.
All right.
So is Valerie there to correct the record? The judge said
no,
I
you
said
don't,
it, but
you
I
don't
didn't
need
say
to correct her. That matches the court's recollection. Very good, counselor. Very good. Very good.
He likes to do this. Judge, we're going to cut to commercial in about 10 minutes, so you have about 10 more minutes to love on her.
All my point is since you are in the news and you want to be an attorney, start thinking out of the box. I'll tell you something I did as a professor. I would have one half of the class prepare for the plaintiff side of the case, the other half prepare for the defendant side of the case, and on the day when everyone was supposed to make their presentation, I would make them switch sides. They thought it was unfair, but I said, well, part of the process is comprehending both sides of the case, because if you ever get in private practice, you may have people on both sides of the same issue. You must be prepared to understand both sides. And
that's correct. And can I say this, Judge? I say this? And I'm taking all the advice you have, but I don't have to start thinking outside of the box. I do think outside of the box, and I'm gonna give you a quick example. No. Wait. Let me finish. Let me finish my statement.
Don't talk about what you do until you find out. That's one thing.
Let me finish.
Okay, little humility now. Go ahead.
No, I'm absolutely humble, but I'm giving you an example. So if you let me finish my statement, I am as humble as it comes. What I'm saying is I don't have to start thinking outside of the box. I do and live think outside of the box. For example, working with Bernie Sanders, who's a socialist. Well, I'm not a socialist, but he's all the way left. I've worked with him. I've worked with Attorney Benjamin Crump, who some folks call him a terrorist because of his issues on Black Lives Matter. I'm on right-wing Fox. Some people say that Fox is racist, a racist organization. So what I'm saying is, and it's not about me being humble or not, I'm saying that I work with diverse backgrounds from all over. I have people who follow me who are nationalists, all the way from people who are absolute black, everything's about black. So what I'm saying is I think outside of the box. I live outside of the box. I'm an independent. I'm moderate for that reason. And so I will continue to be so. I can look at arguments from both sides of the table. I'm a Florida Supreme Court mediator as well. So I do believe in both sides being argued and thinking outside the box. So that was the only and it has nothing to do with humble or cocky.
Well,
I just wanted to be clear that I don't have to start. I'm doing it right now because I piss off a lot of folks because I think outside of the box. You know?
Okay, now, hold on. I'm not disputing
in
you.
Fact, Judge, there's a hashtag where people follow me, and it's called hashtag no boxes. And that's because I think outside the box. So I just wanted you to know that.
Would-be counselor, let me put this to you. I'm not disputing that claim of yours. What I am interested in doing is developing this into a discussion wherein there's somebody that can comprehend both sides of the issue, which is where I intend to take this. Now, we've got a commercial break. Is that right, Valerie? Miss Valerie coming up?
Yes, we've got a commercial break in about – I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, we're going to cut to commercial in about 6 minutes. 6 minutes, sir.
Okay, 6 minutes. We've got some
time.
Sir. Now that we have understood that you are capable of going on both sides of an issue, the conclusion to the first is, would it or would it not be a reasonable proposition that a lot of what hashtag #MeToo is talking about depends upon the circumstances of the woman at some point in her career. If she was successful, she tends not to complain. If she was not successful, she might complain that it did not work out as anticipated. That's sort of buyer's remorse. But let's just say that what you're illustrating in response to me is that one needs to be a little cautious about where one is going with one's conclusion based on what one hears on the media. Now, since you said that black people want to hear both sides of a story before they jump to the conclusion, what do you say about some of our would-be black leaders? Or let me put it this way, and I'm being somewhat derisive in this, some of the persons of color on the media that are so prone to jump on somebody else black because of accusations. Now, that's not being typically black, but what are they being? What do you think they are all about when they're so anxious to play vicious dog sicked on somebody that is no longer on the guest list?
Well, like I said in my interview the other day, the media controls, when people say, oh, you over there with those white folks at Fox, I made it clear that white folks run CNN and they run MSNBC just as well. So if they want any of these black pundits to talk about somebody black or any conservative issue or anything that is the narrative of the day, they call upon us all, to make comments on that. And they have to, for a perfect example, on CNN, if you're not talking about Trump against Trump, you don't get airtime. That's why when people say, oh, well, you're just on Fox. Well, liberal media, they don't want to have me on challenging them. It's not that they don't have on other people challenging their thoughts, but they have personally talked to me, reached out to me, but they don't want to have me on with that argument. So I would say that the same thing that drives Fox viewers also drives MSNBC, CNN viewers. And this is about money. At the end of the day, what drives the ratings, what drives the attention. And so right now, on the left and the right, there's an emotional pull to get the ratings up. So let's, for example, let's use the Jesse case.
Fox followed CNN into the 24/7 format. Frankly, there's not enough news going on in the world to occupy 24/7 news format in a news fashion. It's simply entertainment these days, so they want you to stay tuned for ratings. I understand that. I did it for 15 years. By the way, classic example is the dispute I wound up having with them for not doing what they wanted me to do, and that's why I'm no longer with CBS syndication. Toward the last 3 years I had the show, I was in the same unit with Phil, Oprah, and Judge Judy, and for the last 3 years I beat Oprah and Phil every week in the ratings and was stepping on Judy's heels and sometimes beat her until, quite frankly, they couldn't stand it and they changed Judy's rating schedule so she would perpetually stay ahead of me. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and I just walked away with them from a lot of money and said, I can't do this. I'm not going to abide by what you want me to do. And I've got a new show pending right now. And quite frankly, I'm beginning to get a little bit of a problem with the development of that because they want me to do and say certain things. And I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to do that. So if you want me to continue with this and get advantage of the ratings I can bring you in, then, we will do it commensurate with the Joe Brown way, not your particular Hollywood way. Now, if you don't like it, then we won't be together because I'm an old man, I'm retired, and I'm okay, I'm comfy. So, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But now,
and can I make a statement on
right
that?
Jump in there,
I talked about that on the Breakfast Club, how, who's willing to stand when they have nothing. So you just made an example about how you're an old man and, hey, you either do it this way, I'm fine, I'm comfortable. But there are people like me that are not fine, that are not comfortable, that are a single mom, that I'm one check away from homelessness like everybody else. I've lost a lot of contracts, still do, because I believe in what I believe. And that's important, and I share that when I say, when I'm up here on Fox, I don't take every segment, jump on every segment that they want me to. Some issues I'm not going to speak on. Some issues I'm not going to go what the producers are looking for. I know why they contact me. I'm not confused. I only speak on issues that I believe that I'm willing to stand on, that I'm willing to die for. And I talked about what's called hazard pay on the Breakfast Club. Hazard pay means, which Judge Joe Brown has, means that you can say whatever the hell you want to say, and if they don't like it, you're still going to be able to pay your bills next month. Well, there's people like me, Tezlyn Figaro, that need help from people like you, support. When I say help, I mean support. because I'm saying whatever the hell I want to say, not knowing how I'm going to eat next month. And that's the difference between when I talked about Kaepernick, who spoke up, which I'm glad that he did, but he lost a lot of contracts, but he also had money in the bank. Look at what Steve Harvey did this week when he said that he will not, for the sake of integrity, he will not stand up for what's right. So it just shows that we have some people, or you look at Muhammad Ali, who said he don't care what kind of money he gets. He's always going to stand up for what's right. You can take the money if that means going against his integrity. So I think this is a time where we can really talk about integrity. Who's willing to do what? How are they willing to do it? People are quick to put me in a box and say, oh, well, Fox got her saying it. Fox don't have me saying damn thing, Judge.
I'm not.
No, not
I'm
you.
Not one
I'm
of
talking
those
about the people.
I'm not
no,
one of
I'm
those
talking about the people.
I'm not one of those
No.
people.
I know you're not. I'm talking about the people out there because we got people listening. When people come to me and they say, oh, Fox got you saying this and that. No, actually, I'm not a contributor with Fox. I'm seen often. I've been on 80 times, 70, 80 times in the last 2 years, but I stand on my own beliefs. So, no, I know you're not saying it. I'm talking about how people have criticized me. And I've said what I believe, even if it's cost me. I lost my contract earlier this year from Our Revolution, Bernie Sanders' organization, because I said on Fox News prior to me joining that organization that everybody's talking about immigration. Meanwhile, more black men are in prison than those who were enslaved in 1850. And because I made that comment, I was called a racist. They did a hit story on me. Politico did, New York Times, Washington Post. Not one of them called me for my comment. My name was smeared all over the internet, and I immediately lost my position because of what I believe. So you're absolutely right.
So,
they try to control you on every level.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. I appreciate your conscientiousness. That's very good. That is very good. We need more like that.
I call it the consequences of consciousness is what I call it.
There you go. And perhaps, let's see, our good Mr. Cory Booker could have taken a few notes from you and contrasted what I've seen him doing lately with what you did that was necessary. And by the way, 78% of the stations that subscribed to my old show were Fox. So I don't hate them. You know, that was good for business. And I'll tell you something, Rupert Murdoch is an interesting creature. His father had him very late in life, very long ago, and his father was a labor man in English politics, even though he was from Australia, and so is Rupert Murdoch. As a labor man, he had a different interest than you would think based on what you hear said on Fox News a lot. So that being the case, he would direct what he had for general programming on Fox associated stations and the network to bring in young people so they could get a privy to the discussions that would be going on. I don't think he approved of all of the stuff that you got from, say, O'Reilly or something like that, because he has been a long-term labor man from his experience in Australia, and his father's in England. So it's an interesting thing. I don't hold that against you. And my personal thing lately is, after being a lifelong Democrat, I can't stomach them anymore, and I call myself an independent. And I think we need to withhold our support from the Democratic Party until, one, we get some benefit, and a little hashtag, no benefit, no vote. And the next thing that goes on that is reward past performance and assess past performance in determining whether or not a promise that is made is going to be valid. Now, if we backed off from the Democratic Party, we might become more attracted to the Republican Party, and we might find that if we abandon the Democratic Party, they'd be trying to get us back, so we would get something in return for our votes instead of month after month when they held power in the House and Senate. Most recently, they wasted that time debating on who got to pee in the girls' bathroom. So I understand what you're doing. Now let's push the concept of black people, ADOS, and I love that, American Descendants of Slaves, getting something, because there are black people out there right now, like Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Obama, who were not ADOS because they had no one who was the descendant of an American slave in their backgrounds. And we've got Kamala Harris claiming to be that, but when in actuality, genetically, culturally, and everything else, she's what you call a Hindu Brahmin. And this is something I find interesting about Kamala Harris. You hear this talk about the Nazis, either Hitler's Nazis or the new ones, talking about Aryan white supermen, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. Actually, that is a myth because the Aryans they're talking about look like, guess who? Hindu Brahmin, who look just like Kamala Harris. See, we say she's looking black, paper bag brown, but she looks black. But that's the way Hindu Brahmins look. They also look like us, but they're not us, and they think we're kafirs, and that's their word for N, the N word. Mm-hmm. And we are on the bottom of the totem pole in terms of humanity. They view us as subhuman, and they have a caste in India called untouchables, which are basically the unhuman, human, unclean, subhuman. And it looks like, frankly, that woman put us in that category in San Francisco when she was an assistant and then the DA of being the American untouchable. So her claim I'm an AKA, which my mother was too, she got me in 1934, mm-hmm. But she's ivy behind the wall now, so forget that. You grew up in Canada, kindergarten through 12th grade. You had a little bit of black in you from your Jamaican father, who wasn't a black Jamaican, but had more of the English Commonwealth in him than he had African black. And then he had a lot of Hindu in him, too. And then you got your mama who's straight Hindu, top caste, Aryan, Superman, Brahmin. And you got raised by your mother, no daddy's input. You get to thinking about that. You know, you get into the Kama Sutra, and maybe that's what you put on Willie Brown, page 27 and 419 out of the Kama Sutra. I don't know. But that leads into some other stuff that we need to get into with the politics. So I'm kind of throwing some stuff out there for us to get into over the next, well, we've got a bit of time here. So it's going to be interesting. Now, Valerie, how close are you to the commercial break?
We're actually 3 minutes outside of the commercial break. If you don't mind, we could cut to commercial break.
Fast, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. You know, time flies when you're having fun and you've got great guests. Yeah. So yeah, what we'll do at this time is we'll cut to commercial break, get some final words, and then we are going to open the lines for callers. I forgot to ask you, how much time do we have with you? How much more time do you have, Tez?
I could do this all day with the judge. However long you want to keep me on.
Okay.
This is
right.
Completely up my alley, so I'm loving it.
So, Judge, I think you got a new daughter. Look at that.
Well, you know, I'm extending the family.
All right, guys. All right, so let's just take a really, really short break. Pay tribute to some African Americans and support Black business. We'll be back.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to share our links on your social media. We love you to life. Please enjoy your day.
All right, that was premature, but we don't make mistakes here. We make memories. So here we go with another commercial. I want to remind everybody to please support Killer Mike. I think we lost somebody. Uh-oh. I hope we didn't lose her. That wouldn't be good. Let's go to commercial.
Throughout history, there's always been the same question. How come black people don't seem to get further on the economic scale? This is a question with multiple answers. First comes slavery. Second, not knowing our history. And last, not sticking together. There's a beautiful African proverb that we unfortunately seem to forget. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This quote still stands for today. If we as black people want to get higher on the economic ladder, so where do we start? Well, by supporting black-owned businesses. money is not the solution to our problems, but a tool to build our own economy. The time is now to support Black-owned businesses. Black Economic Network, where Black-owned businesses come together.
Are you ready to make money? Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance Company is seeking agents in Indiana, Florida, Ohio, and Virginia. Contact Ebony Fire at 216-224-5311 for details.
Everyone's nervous on a first date, but with my situation, it's even scarier. I want to be open and honest, but some things are almost impossible to talk about. Then I discovered StartToDate.com.
With StartToDate.com, I found a partner that I can tell anything to and not be afraid or feel like I'm hiding things. I never dreamed I could be this happy.
Stop worrying and start dating with StartToDate.com, where relationships begin with honesty and trust. Download the app at StartToDate.com.
All right, guys, we're back at the Judge Brown Show. We got the Judge Brown on the line. Judge, I think we lost our guest, so I'm looking down the board because that's how I ended up playing the wrong clip. I saw that she dropped. So I guess right now what I want to do until I find her is find out how you're feeling. Are you having a good time? Seemed like you were having some fun there for a second. I haven't seen you that relaxed in a minute. Yes, yes. So I'm really happy to the female. Let's say that
40-some years ago, old white chancellor who didn't like colored people, but he said he liked me because I didn't walk around acting typical and groveling and shuffling my feet. I was in his courtroom on some motions, and what was going on just got absolutely ridiculous. So I got up, walked out, and sat out in the hallway. Well, a few minutes later, here comes the judge, or chancellor. He said, Mr. Lawyer Brown, what do you think of that? I said, well, Your Honor. He said, it was absolutely dumb, stupid, and ridiculous, wasn't it? I said, it sure was. He said, you know what? These folk will drive you crazy if you don't get a good sense of humor. He said, one more thing, too. He said, you like stand-up comedy? I said, it's soft, it's good, and the man sophisticated who's doing it, I like it. He said, well, let me give you a suggestion. He said, stand-up comics got a way of looking at life that's a little bit different than the ordinary, and if you start thinking like that sometimes, you'll see things other folk don't see. And if you got a jury up in the box, or hell, even old crotchety old judge like me, everybody's sitting there boring the devil out of them. And if you can keep them entertained and on their folk and laughing about something, they'll be paying attention to your case while they be falling asleep on the other son of a bitch, and you'll win more likely than not. So I keep that in mind, and it's sort of like sometimes you can go get entertaining. Sometimes you can keep the energy up, and you can throw a little drama into it, even if you might give a flat delivery.
Gotcha.
So the only time I really got flat was, man, watch your step. What's wrong, man? The judge is on in a bad way today. What's the matter? He's quiet. He's not saying much of anything. And when I got like that, watch your step. All right. Sit down, take him into custody, revoke the bond. Next one. Now let's see if we have some sense. Okay, no, that's bond revoked. Take him in the back. Now we'll bring them out later and see if anybody's developed good sense. Counselor, don't put this man up here and waste the court's time with some nonsense. Let's get to the issue. We've got a probation hearing we're supposed to be conducting on his behalf. Now let's get to the essentials. No, that's not going to get it. Take him into custody. Oh, man, wow. Well, that's the way it works sometimes, and what you're trying to do is get to the essential elements. You do what you need to do. So
gotcha.
It's one of those things, a little drama put in there every now and then doesn't hurt.
Yeah, definitely. She's back, and what I want to do, everybody, we are down to, I think we got about 40, 45 more minutes of the show, so please, at this time, press number 1. Looks like we are only going to have time for about 3
minutes.
Yeah, we got about an hour. Yeah, I don't like to play with the last 5 minutes because, when they turn the lights out, that is so embarrassing.
Let's say we got an hour.
When it gets cut off, we got an hour, exactly. Yes. So what I want to do at this time, yay, she's back. I see her. There we go. Welcome back, Tez. How are you?
Yeah, I apologize. The phone cut out. So I said, I hope the judge won't find me in contempt.
No, understood. Technical difficulties. Well understood.
Yeah, I saw your call drop, and I ended up clicking the wrong button because I saw it, and I wasn't even thinking. And I thought, oh, my God, yes, and then I just went somewhere else mentally because then I knew, yeah, we had to get you back. Judge is having way too much fun. So anyway, so what I'm going to do, Ted, I want to open up the lines now to callers, and like I said, I want to give you guys a chance to sum everything up. So we'll do that at the end. So I'm going to open up the lines, get about 3 or 4 calls. Hopefully they got some really juicy questions to ask you because I definitely want them, to love on you as much as possible. Anytime anybody's from Florida, shoot, I'm going to give them the floor. Orlando, Florida, too? I know you gangster. Definitely. 678-842, 678-842. You're live. Welcome to the show. Give us your name and your question. And, yeah, if you got any background noise, yeah, please just kind of manipulate, your mic or whatever.
Greetings.
So we can hear you.
Greetings in the name of the Father. Greetings in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This is Pastor Dar Jr., CEO of the Entertainment Worldwide Network, founder and commissioner of the 300 Elite Winning Team members. And, yes, I have a lot of background noise because I've been doing it for 21 years. Shouts out to you, Sister Valerie. You're doing a great job moderating. Shouts out to my mentor, Judge Joe Brown. I hear you. Shouts out to you, Sister Tez. I seen the whole interview, and you killing it today. Shouts out to the 3 million listeners in Radio Land and the 25 AM and FM radio markets we service with the Winning Team Wednesday. I got a question now. I got to bring this to the forefront, and I've been hearing a lot of great stuff about what we will do and what we're capable. I want y'all to kind of touch on overcoming the obstacles of coming out of your environment because both of y'all's stories are rocky stories. Y'all was beat down by the environment, but y'all overcame everything to think outside the box. And if you was left to what everybody else was telling y'all never would have got off of square one. So how did y'all overcome the harsh realities and still stay focused at the same time? Like presently, everything's in disarray, but in the future, you're moving towards your vision. How did y'all work through that? Ladies first, and if you could, Judge O'Brien, follow it up.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Pastor Don.
Don, CEO.
Well, I would say,
all right, Tez.
I would definitely defer to Judge Joe Brown because he certainly has a lot more season in this game than I am. I'm still a long way forward, but what I would say is to answer your question, particularly when I'm talking to a pastor, because I love talking about the word. God is the head of my life, and I don't just say that just to say that. I mean it. I talk about the book of Judges and how Deborah said, she told General Barak that if you do not deliver my people from poverty, he will deliver them through the hand of a woman. So I believe in the Old Testament, rules, which is somebody got to call somebody out. And I believe that God really does keep me grounded. And it's not just believing it, I know it. When you're faced with challenges and you have a decision to make on if you're going to go right or if you're going to go left, that's been the only thing, my discernment. It's been the only thing is that it's kept me focused. It's been the only thing to know that if all fails, when it fails, it has failed. I've had to start. I've had to stop. I've had to rebuild over and over and over. That because I'm doing everything according to what he's having to do with my purpose, that I will be sustained. And so I do a lot of meditating on that, and I think about Ezekiel and how he was told that he has to be able to call them out, and that if you don't call them out, then you will be held responsible for that. Not those who have sinned, but for those because you did not call them out. I can be equally held responsible for that. So I look to the scripture, I look to the word, I tried to get a complete understanding, and that's what allowed me to live in Dallas and Chicago and Orlando and Houston by myself, leaving my house at 17 years old with just a shirt on my back, really understanding that my faith will guide me, God will sustain me, and as long as you're speaking truth to power, the word endures.
Go ahead, sister. And you saying that while you driving down I-75, holding both your hands on the phone, like, I really mean this. I'm just playing. Yo, that was really good. That was.
Let me
you got me pumped.
I'm a cussing pastor, so I'm not a pastor. I haven't been called. I can't ever.
You're my friend.
but I know it works.
Hey, you better ask Judge O'Brien and them about me, man. I ain't no Rudy Poo here. We believe in the spirit. Well, with that being said, man, I'm just happy I called in today. Man, I am on fire. Judge, can you take a stab at that question? I'm gonna move out the way.
All right, Pastor Don Jr., I commend you for your work that has advanced the interest of our community. All I'd say is maintain focus on what your lifetime goals are. And once you set up some lifetime goals, hopefully they are goals that transcend your life. So what needs to be done is not anything that's going to happen day after tomorrow. Some people look at day after tomorrow in terms of what am I going to do to get the most money in my pocket or in my bank account. Some people look at tomorrow as what am I going to do to set up the long-term big picture. Now, quite frankly, if you worry about the long-term big picture, the money aspect that most people put in the forefronts of their minds relative to just a little bit in the future will come to pass, or you might suffer a bit of privation on the way there. But some things need to be done that sets the stage for other things, so it takes time to accomplish those things and time for those things to take effect. Now, I, for example, was the last judge to have the James Earl Ray matter in my courtroom, and 20-some years ago, I started putting it out that something was wrong with that case. Ray didn't shoot King, and the murder weapon was not the murder weapon, and what the murder weapon was something that the FBI seems to have supplied. So 25 years later, if you were sitting around in a bar anywhere in the country, people start saying, you know, Ray didn't kill him. You know, there's something funny about that. They still haven't solved it. 30 years ago, if you'd sat around in the bar, everybody would assume James Earl Ray killed Martin Luther King. So what you start may have an effect decades down the road. So do what you do with the big picture in mind, and in order to do something about it, you have to prepare yourself to be able to speak on these issues, which means you have to get your mind in shape to do analysis, rational, logical, and reasonable deductions based on the evidence that you have ferreted out. You have to learn how to find that evidence. You have to broaden your perception of humanity so that you can take in a big picture, and then you must dedicate yourself to your people, and you must develop a mindset which is, I'm going to die anyway. If necessary, I might as well be known for having lived for something, so if I die for it, then at least it'll be sudden, so it won't be something miserable that you linger to do.
I gotta stop you right there. I gotta stop you right there, and I'm gonna say this and step out the way. Just like in that movie 300, when Leonidas was leaving, and she said, either come home to me or come home on your shield. I've been on over 2,000 radio shows. The reason why you my mentor, the reason why all this stuff is going on, I won't start with the winning team. I done lost so much, but because my fortitude, my persistence, my resilience, my constant rechanging and re-evolving, it's working. It's working. Anybody that want to get on this winning team, call me direct, 818-358-5722. This is not no game, y'all. This is not no game. I'm running for president in 2024. The next 5 years, I'm doing a $4.5 million initiative to purchase 22 abandoned buildings, to put 300 companies on the stock market. So everything you said I need to do, I'm doing, but because of you, I'm excelling at it because you just gave me confirmation. Thank you, Sister Valerie. One more time, I'm Pastor Don Jr., CEO. My direct contact is 818-358-5722. Sister Taz, keep pushing. Get at me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes,
right,
thank you so much,
Don.
Pastor Don. I appreciate you. Definitely.
All right.
2024, guys. He says he's running for president, so mark your calendars. I want to show you some love over here. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna open about 9 different mics. Let's see. 904-520. Show you some love. Tez from Florida.
What's going
Come on
on?
in. I think this is Nate. Yes. Hi. How are you?
How you doing, lady? How you doing, Judge? How you doing, Tez?
How you doing,
Hello,
sir?
I'm fine.
I'm all right. How y'all doing? I'm actually off from the
Nate,
gym today. Y'all
tell
doing?
Ted who you are. Don't just
I'm
come
Nate
in
Campbell.
and put your feet up.
Okay. How you doing? I'm Nate Campbell, former 3-time lightweight champion of the world, current Hall of Fame inductee into the Florida State Boxing Hall of Fame, and I am a big fan of yours, Ted. I watched your interview on the Breakfast Club, and I enjoyed your realness and how you were able to say so many things without saying so many things. I was like, oh, I caught that. I caught that. I caught that. I'm like, oh, that's hood code there for he ain't shit. I mean, I was like, yeah. One of my daughter who was a psychology major was like, yeah, you caught that too, Dad. I'm like, yeah, I caught that. You caught that. I caught that. And I want you guys to be very to know that I'm supporting your move. Wish you well in law school. Do your thing. I always thought I'd go to school to be a lawyer. Then I thought about what the school was going to be like. I was like, nah, I'm almost stick to boxing. It worked for me. If my argument don't work, I can always throw a punch at somebody. We need more great lawyers. We need more great doctors, and I'm glad that you're a sister like yourself is going forward to pick up the mantle, because everybody, I don't think that every one of us that are out here in the struggle, we're not going to be able to struggle without a lawyer. We're going to all need a lawyer at some point, and I'm glad to know that a sister like you will be lawyering for us. Thank you for all you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing. And you're from Oklahoma City, my boy. I got one of my favorite people in the world from Oklahoma. Great place, great people.
Yeah, thank you so much. And just so you know, I will go ahead and say who ain't shit and who ain't. Can I say that, Judge? Or is that against
go
the
right ahead.
I want to make sure. Because I will. But with the Breakfast Club, I had so much information that I was trying to get out, and so quickly, and I couldn't delve into so much information. I gave you a lot of game in 30 minutes, but please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tezlyn Figaro, and you will see. In fact, I did another upload today. I also broke down the Kamala Harris. You remember how on the show I said she don't need to get on there talking about hip hop? Well, what did she do last week? Got on there talking about hip hop. I talked about, hazard pay. What did Steve Harvey do? Tell us how he ain't gonna stand because he don't want to lose his hazard pay. So I broke all of that down. So subscribe to my YouTube and you'll see a lot more, because I call them out by name. I just
I know you did. I caught the code. I caught the code. I'm like, I got it. I'm like, when you was doing it, and Val, when she was doing it, I was like, ooh, and it takes a lot of cojones to get on the radio and to say what you said the way you said it, especially the way you said it to people. In the mortal words of Adrian Broner, gang, gang. You were straight gang, gang on there. And I was like, yeah. and she was gang, gang. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. I like her. And we need more. We need more. I'm going to say this. What's the girl name?
Yeah.
The girl Sanders. Her name is Sanders.
Simone Sanders.
Simone Sanders. We don't need no more of her. We got enough of her. We got enough because Simone Sanders. We got enough Simone. I can say what I want to say because you know my feelings. Hey, Val, Judge, I say what's on my mind because at the end of the day, I'm willing to fight for what I believe in. And the problem is, we got enough. We got enough of those out there. We need more women that are understanding the plight of the black man in America that are trying to do. There's a lot of brothers out here trying to do. And no offense, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Ain't no way Kamala Harris finna get the black male vote. I talked to too many black men. We ain't finna fool with her. First of all, you married the wrong dude. You picked the wrong guy to be trying to get my vote. I'm just gonna say that for what it is. You can't get my vote that way. You married Brad.
And she ain't black anyway.
Let me give you this
and
piece
you ain't
so
black
you can
enough
run with it.
if you want to go there.
No,
Nate,
not
she
black
wants to
enough.
give you some tea to run
She's
with.
not black at all, and she's not ADOS, American
At all.
Descendant of
She's
Slaves. Not
She's
at
not.
all.
At all.
Not
And
at all.
let me give you some tea just to give you an example on how I will call out names since you mentioned Simone. I did not. I worked on the Senator Sanders campaign with Simone, obviously. She has me blocked from Twitter, and that's for a reason. Anytime, any day she want to talk about who did what on the campaign as far as pushing for black issues, shout out to my whole African-American outreach team that was constantly shunned down, constantly not listened to, constantly disrespected. It was only a few who stopped that, and I would say that Simone was not on the African-American outreach side when it came down to talking about black issues. She talked about also in the public about how it wasn't about black, it was about economics. But now that the campaign is over, she's on CNN, and she's the culture and black this and black that. So, I appreciate everybody for what they contribute to the game, but in any time someone want to have a debate with me or any of the black outreach team, I'm down for it. You can tweet her and let her know because, again, she has me blocked, and that's for a reason. And this ain't no shade. I'm glad that she does what she does. But at some point in time, we got to have a conversation on who on the Sanders campaign was talking about black issues. Who was it that was black that was working on the Sanders campaign that said, no, we're going to talk about economics. And I just leave that right there. And so anytime you want to have that conversation, I'm down with it. You'll have to tweet it.
Okay.
Let
me throw something out there. Future counselor, one of the strongest things you can use to impeach somebody, and that means to discredit them, not the type they're talking about doing to Trump, but to discredit somebody, is to say, they've already told you one thing and they've told you another. If we catch them in a lie, they're as likely to be lying about the other thing as they are with the first. Let's talk about Kamala Harris, who came out with that really ridiculous thing about, she smoked weed. And as a matter of fact, she, in college, would sit and smoke weed and listen to Tupac and to Ice Cube. Now, the interesting thing about that is at the time she was in college, Tupac was about 12 years old. So she's lying through her teeth. She wasn't listening to Tupac in her sound system, and Ice Cube was 13, so she sure as the devil wasn't listening to him, but she told us he was smoking dope, listening to Tupac and Ice Cube.
Well, not Ice Cube, Judge. She said Snoop.
Judge, it was Snoop Dogg. She said Snoop Dogg.
Snoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she wasn't listening to him either because he hadn't made his first album.
Right, now just
he had made his first recording. So she wasn't listening to him.
To give you the counter argument to that, the other side, the Breakfast Club came out and said that she was confused because they asked her what she listened to now at the same time that they asked her what she smoked when she smoked weed. Now, my answer to that is, and I did a video on this as well, and you can catch it on my YouTube. I train politicians how to go in and they speak their message to whoever the audience is. The bottom line is Kamala Harris shouldn't have been talking about pipe. She should have been talking about policy. She shouldn't have talking about weed. She should have been talking about what you're going to do for us. So had she stayed away from that conversation, period, nobody would be confused on if she was talking about college, if she was talking about what she listened to, if you was focused on policy. So, and when people said, well, maybe she's confused, and I said, well, I refuse to believe a prosecutor's confused because prosecutors create questions, they answer questions, they certainly know how.
No, look. Counselor,
so if she was,
one of the most confused persons in the courtroom is the prosecutor.
Well,
I'm serious. There are some lazy scoundrels for the most part.
Well,
and they rely on the police.
That's another.
They don't go look at the scene.
What I'm saying is, Kamala Harris,
but
if she was confused, if she was confused, she should have asked for clarification. So that's
well, look, but see, what she did is what you will find if you get in a courtroom is typical of career prosecutors. Mm-hmm. They get into stuff that they had an opportunity to not get out of. They had an opportunity to become familiar with, but they didn't. They relied on somebody else, usually the police, and they wait until, okay, I don't need to go waste my time looking this case up until somebody says we got to go to trial, and then I'll try to bone up on it. But what happens is she tried to bone up on black and got caught in an outright lie. And the bottom line is one of the most dishonest bunch of people you will ever encounter in your life, let alone your legal career, are career prosecutors. They're dishonest. They're corrupt because what is the old saying? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And they have been used to exercising too much power without check, and they're corrupted. One thing I want you to look into on the national level, you talked about those 18 black women who got no redress for being raped. Right here in Memphis, Tennessee, they got a redneck woman who is the district attorney. Her name is Amy Wyrick. And Amy Wyrick has drug her feet to the point where they have 18,000 plus, that's 18 again, 18,000 but not 18 untested rape kits. And the state has come in here offering over and over again to test them for free, and she's turned them down, and she has corrupted the process by getting several $1 million to a consultant firm she's getting a kickback from. She has brought in somebody else, a former career prosecutor, to delay the effort, and it's blocking a lot of VIP white folk who would get caught up in raping young black girls, black women, or even old white men or preachers raping white women. And she's got 18,000 untested rape kits, and the number is climbing higher and higher, and she won't do her job. So that is a manifest injustice that somebody needs to look into on a national level. I'll bring that to everybody's attention. But
I love that. I love
the
way you said bone up on black. Please take
and you know what she's classified as? Genetically, most white Europeans have more black in her than she does. And what she is check this out. Look it up. As a Hindu Brahmin, you know what she's officially classified as? Is Caucasian. But you see, Australian Aborigines are dark, but they're classified as Caucasian. They've got some in the north of Japan who are called the Ainu. They're classified as Caucasian, not Asian.
Ainu are dark. And
they got that look. And you see, she is a classical white woman. She is an Aryan. And the Aryans are those same people that Adolf Hitler and his Nazis were talking about were blonde-haired, blue-eyed. They aren't. They are dark-haired, brown-eyed, and they got a coffee complexion. And if you look at a Hindu Brahmin women, if you get a group of them standing around, you will see Kamala Harris in that group. So we're getting bamboozled. In other words, she said to herself, we look like this. Remember what's her name? Elizabeth Warren, who claimed she was a Cherokee and DNA-wise, turned out they got nothing in her.
Right.
It's an outright lie trying to deal with a claim.
I just received a message that we got actor Isaiah Washington on the line. I just wanted to make sure we brought him in. Welcome, sir.
All right, let's bring the brother in.
How are you?
Area. Let's go do that.
Hello, 323-804.
Hey.
Are you there?
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi.
I was just having a good time sitting. I've always loved to listen to Joe Brown for years, so I was just enjoying listening to you and Tezlyn.
Okay. Well, can you give us a little? We got a lot of young listeners. Can you give us a little of your background, so our young listeners will know? Not, I think everybody and aliens know who you are, but can you just let everybody know who you are so we can love on you after the show as well?
Well, I think in caught in the miasma of the media and how they want to let the young audience know who I am because they don't want them to know who I really am. I think the most important thing that people don't know is that through African ancestry in my DNA, I'm the first human being and the only African American to receive a dual citizenship, something that W.E. Du Bois, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King died for, to let our people know that if we're not connected to the continent and we're still fighting here in America, and they're still dying in Africa, then we're just spinning our wheels. It's a revolving door. That's number one that I like the young audience to know, is that I'm still standing. I'm still loving. I'm still believing in us as a people. If someone can show me a black community that I can go to that's really functioning properly and healthily, I'll be happy to go there and move there. But until then, I think a lot of us have to keep talking about what's wrong. And I've been on the phone with Sidney Hicks talking about this Monique Harvey thing, and I got to tell you, at 55 years old, I am stunned. I'm blown away. One, this year that I can see that it's snowing in Maui, Hawaii, and that Steve Harvey on national television actually gave up the ghost and told the world who he really is. And there's a lot of people that believe him because black people are not a monolith. And that's the problem. It's like Harriet Tubman had a bullet for people like that. He had a bullet for people like that. And I'm not trying to, besmirch anybody or incite any kind of violence, but we got a problem amongst ourselves. And it's getting more and more vocal, more and more complacent, and more comfortable by saying that ignorance is okay, arrogance is okay, and that we're not supposed to think about anything but ourselves and money. And that's just not who we are as a people. That's not who we were in the land of Ethiopia, the land of Kemet, now called Africa, and this experiment called America. It's just a joy to see Tezlyn. We go back and forth. We haven't met each other, but I love her fire. I love what she's doing on Fox. Mr. Brown, I love what you've been doing for years. But, yeah, I'm here to say that, okay, now the gauntlet has been dropped. Now what?
There you go. Now what?
Wow.
Now what?
We definitely need to have an extended conversation where we talk about that because I thought that was over, and Monique actually addressed it on her show and squashed it, and then it picked up a few new. I don't know. It found some new legs and spread in a different direction. So we definitely need to have another discussion.
Steve got
after this conversation.
Steve was looking for ratings. Steve was looking for ratings on that one.
No. I hear that, and I hear people proselytizing that. And please, no disrespect. Look, I've been a part of this industry for years. I was on the number one show in America that had great ratings. It didn't keep me in my job because ratings also brings about culture, also brings about ethnicity, also brings about a different experience. And if a group of people are not prepared through soft bigotry to accept that experience, then they will go out their way to destroy it. So we can't just rely on the fact that it was all about ratings and leave it at that because we don't control the ratings, okay? Black Panther was made, but those black dollars are going to Disney. And everybody knows Disney was a rampant racist. So we can't just sit back and say, oh, it was all about ratings. No, damage was done. Damage was done. It's the 21st century. A lot of black people will say, hey, he told the truth, and maybe he did. But you know what? When I look at Roots again, and I look at a scene with Louis Goss's character talking about, hey, man, get on away from here. You're not going to make things bad for me. We black out here. I mean, yeah, Steve Harvey was right for the 1800s, but he ain't right for the 21st century. It ain't got nothing to do with ratings. Mm-hmm. What he said was true. And many people, white people agree with him, but it was right for the 1800s. So if we go along with his thinking with Monique, then that means we forget about everything Frederick Douglass was saying, everything W.B. Du Bois was saying, everybody before him, what they were saying to get us to this place, to even have a Joe Brown show, to even have Tezlyn on Fox News and not be called the N-word, to even have me still working after they tried to kill me. I said, no, we can't let that pass. We can't let that pass. We have to figure out, okay, a healthy way. Let's have another conversation and invite everybody that was involved: Tyler, Lee, Daniel, Oprah, Steve, Monique, Tezlyn, Mr. Brown, anybody else who hasn't said anything, Travis Smiley, who they just got off his show. Bring us all. Let's have a forum and go, why do we have a difference of opinions about how it is that we need to make money and be empowered? Because that's something that we need to fix amongst ourselves.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You know what, Valerie? I'm gonna say this. I've been I think you know me well enough to know, Valerie, how I have felt about Steve Harvey for many years now. I've been vocal about the way I felt about him and the things that he said. So when he made the statement about I don't give a damn about slavery on his show, trying to crack a joke, I'm like, certain jokes I don't tell.
It started there.
Yeah. Well, before that, because he did the monkey. He would act like a monkey for $4 million or $10 million happened years ago, and look, I'm a young comic now. I'm breaking into comedy now, but my jokes tend to be more along the lines of the great one himself, Paul Mooney, opposed to Steve Harvey. I can't get a job.
Paul Mooney.
Yes, and I'll be honest with you. Y'all know why, Valerie? You know why I don't have a job? I didn't have a job commentating boxing. Well, I didn't have a job commentating boxing because they couldn't control me. You can't tell me what to say. I'm gonna call it what it is. In the mortal words of my mom, I'm gonna put all this shit in one pile. You got to deal with. I mean, the problem is, so many people like Steve Harvey are allowed to ascend to a place and be posted out in front of us as those guys that are, leaders or special. I just never felt that way. And now let's get this established. Anything that Mr. Washington does, I'm gonna always be watching it. I always have, because I feel like I said that's a black man that always does his acting from the standpoint of a proud black man. That's just what I feel. Now I may be wrong, but that's what I perceive from watching him act. Now there are a lot of cats I don't fool with, and that's just me. But the problem is we are so quick and so willing to sell out and feel like we're being bought in. But the problem is, bro, they only gonna use you for as long as they can use you, and then when they through using you, they through with you. So
let me say this.
Let me say this. Down to the last 20.
Was he had just got dropped from NBC?
Can I come in on what you're saying? Let me add on to what you're saying.
Hold on 1 second. I want to make it clear we're down to the last 20 minutes of the show. Judge, make your point. Isaiah, I'll give you a chance to make your point. And Tez, make your point.
Isaiah is saying. Thank you, young man.
Sir.
I appreciate what you've been doing. But when I left CBS, we couldn't have a meeting on contracts. Now, I made the decision to buy a few shares of CBS stock, so I got their corporate stockholders newsletter. So I'm reading this newsletter saying I'm their number one money draw because of such low overhead, and I'm being used to finance all these Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movies. How profitable CBS is, and this is the most profitable it's been in its entire history. The last 4 quarters were records, and they come running mess to me. And what the bottom line was not about making money. It was because I wouldn't go along with their LGBTQ agenda.
I remember that.
And that's why we broke up, is because, if you don't go along, you go to hell. You know, I don't care what you guys do behind closed doors, but I'm not advocating this for everybody, so no, I'm not going to do it. So, they tried to drive me out. I said, well, screw you. I ain't going for it. So, bye. It's been nice, 15 years. I never wanted to be in this goddamn industry anyway, but, you got what you got. I got a pulpit, so they do have an agenda that they value more than the money. You need to keep that in your head. And on the bottom of that agenda is straight black men who act like straight black men.
There you go. Hey,
I wanted to say.
Wait 1 second. Isaiah, I want to give you a chance because we're down to the last 20 minutes. I want to give you a chance to make your final point, and Tez to make yours. And I am so sorry, guys. I think we're going to have to cut off the line. I will give Maurice a chance to say something before we wrap. But Isaiah, if you don't mind finishing your thought.
No, I've been on the phone for I got back from Atlanta working, and the first thing, my wife doesn't say much, but the first thing she said was, have you seen the interview between your good friend Monique and Steve Harvey? And I said, babe, I got my Toomey bags in my hand. I haven't even showered yet. I don't know what's going on, and I really don't want to know. But because my wife doesn't say much, I went online and I before I tweet, before I speak, before I say anything, I wanted to do my research. And I have to say, what I saw, and I've been on the phone with Sidney Hicks, and we've been talking about it, and yeah, it may have been good ratings and good TV. Yeah, we know how that works. But at the same time, because of 45, we've lost this feeling that accountability is not cool. Accountability is the last thing we need to be talking about. Let's just go for the bottom line. And what I saw and what they cut out and what I know is that Steve Harvey also went after the so-called, quote-unquote, white boys who just dropped his show from NBC where he's no longer the bookend after Ellen DeGeneres. And I saw, after I understand that they cut that out, then when I looked at the interview again, I was like, oh, he's not really trying to put Monique on blast. He's butthurt because his show has just been dropped off a lucrative network like NBC. And we never got a chance to hear him talk about that. So what I saw was a man genuinely frustrated, surprised, angered, and couldn't figure out that for 7 years of all his good Negro will didn't give him the proper heads up to let him know that his services are no longer required on NBC. And that's a bigger question and a bigger interview. Because, as usual, what black men do, not all of us, but when we're in pain, we crap on the black woman. We lay hands on the black woman when we hurt them. And that's what I saw. I saw a legacy of chattel slavery being played out because he was hurt by an organization that he didn't expect would ever hurt him.
Now, that's deep. That is so deep. And that's why, and I hope you do a show specifically on this, Judge, with you and actor Isaiah Washington. I would love to hear your perspective. I learned so much from what he's told me about how this game works on the Hollywood side, television side, which is very similar, obviously, to cable news because that's now some folks even consider Hollywood. You got a lot of actors in the game in politics, so I guess we're a part of Hollywood too when you really look at it. But but I hope that this is a topic you can go into deep because Isaiah, that's the first time I heard anybody say it the way you said it. That you are exactly right. He was so upset with what's going on with him that he had to pounce down on Monique. But the thing about this is, which is so important, which I talked about at the beginning of the show, right now the real will be exposed and the fake will be exposed. Everything that you've talked about being blackballed in Hollywood, and Monique covered your story with the attorney that finally came out and said, you know, what really happened to you, what Judge Joe Brown just said that I didn't know. Steve Harvey, it was important for him to, even for his emotion, to allow that to be shown. You know, a lot of people said, oh, they should have had this behind closed doors. No, forget that. It's time for stuff to be put on the scene. It's time for things to be exposed so we can see what these conversations are normally like behind closed doors. Because politicians do the same thing Steve Harvey do. Be quiet. Don't do this. Don't do that. I know plenty of them that talk a good shit when it comes to getting on the stage. But when it becomes to behind the scenes and when it comes down to really standing for integrity, they fold like a napkin for the money too. They fold like a napkin for the vote too. It is very few people that are real in this game that are not only real enough to lose an opportunity, but continue to stand and say, you know what? I know you're trying to get me to go a different direction, but I'm going to stay on the direction that I'm on. I have nothing else to lose, so I have nothing else to prove. And so I hope this is a conversation you can have. I know you're wrapping up in time, so I'm going to shut up now because I want to hear just from the wisdom of these two gentlemen that we have. But I do hope, Judge, that you and Isaiah can do something about black in Hollywood, the Steve Harvey comments, so that people can hear, you know, you guys' perspective because that needs to be out there, and that conversation is not had.
Let
I
me
would
say
love
something
to put
on that very quickly.
Show together, Judge.
Let me
would
say
you
something
have
very quickly on that.
Sure,
Let me say, I agree with you about him dumping on Monique, but the bottom line is he was tail-ending Ellen DeGeneres. And Ellen DeGeneres, the truth being known, does not do well on television, but they're rewarding her for being the poster child, being a lesbian with a wife, and being one of the first to come out the closet and talk about it. So oftentimes they will give her a brand new show during the same season that her previous show has flopped in. her ratings are so damn low. I mean, they tried to get me from WSNBC that we were both on to come in on her show to keep the ratings from dropping so low since she came on after me. I was getting 6.2 and 5.8, and she was getting 0.61 and 0.42. And she's a miserable person to work around. She's got a horrible disposition. Her sense of humor is lacking. Nobody really likes it, but they say it's great, and they claim she's a star, and she's not. So they jacked Harvey around by kicking him because of a political, social agenda, and they kept somebody that actually, objectively, was doing a lot worse than him, Ellen DeGeneres, and just boosted her stardom a little more. But he dumped on Monique. That wasn't cool.
I wanted to say something for a minute. Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Maurice Duncan. How you doing,
brother?
Tezlyn?
How you doing?
What's up, Judge?
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, Maurice. I'm sorry. I hate to interject. I'm not the moderator, but I want Isaiah to respond to this because this is important that we hear it from people that actually. I want Isaiah to respond to this. This is why I invited him in. The show was my interview, but I'm yielding my time to Isaiah Washington because I want people to hear what he has to say. Isaiah, can you respond to what the judge just said, please?
No, I think I appreciate that, Ms. Figaro, and I think we need to probably open up another forum with Mr. Brown and I. I don't want to step on Maurice's time. I appreciate that, but I'm gonna abstain. And let Mr. Maurice say.
You're going to yield it back to Maurice? Okay.
I'm going to yield. Yes, I'm going to yield. Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Washington, then I would like, Judge, if it's okay with you, then we could put together a separate show. We do after shows, part twos, and things of that nature. Would you be interested in doing a round two so that you and the judge can talk, and also Tez can come back and she could play my position as moderator? Would you be interested in that?
I could go on record, absolutely. At this particular time, of course, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Then, Tez, I'll get with you and see when we can put that together so that we can give them ample time to discuss, because this is a very, very important matter. Judge, I cut you off. I apologize for that. What were you saying?
I said, amen to that.
Okay.
You asked me
okay.
the question. I'm agreeing with you. Let's do that.
Yes, sir. All right, so again, we are down now less than 10 minutes. So I just want to make sure, hold on one second, Maurice, I'll come back. I just want to make sure, do you guys have any final words? And also, please give us your contact information, and I will reach out to you on the other side to get a date, and then I'll let everybody know, including our international listeners, when we have scheduled this the part two. So I will start with you ladies first. Tez, do you have any final words? And also, can you please provide us with your contact information?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Thank you so much again for having me on. It was a pleasure to be grilled, schooled, challenged by Judge Joe Brown today. I mean, it just can't get any better. I was so excited when they reached out to me about the show, and I said, am I going to actually be on with the judge? So I love it. I love being challenged. I love ideas being challenged. I think this is good, constructive conversation. I hope we can do something in the future, because I think what Isaiah is saying is right. Let's do a panel. Let's have a real conversation right now. This time in America, it is more important. One of the most important things we can talk about. There's a reason why the movement now, #WalkAway, is founded, hashtag ADOS, hashtag Black Exit. Even though Black Exit is saying leave the Democrat Party and black people should all be Republicans, which I disagree. I think it's important we need to be in all three boxes. But the point is, there's a momentum now on the ground that is swelling. I started Blackout 2016 and 2014 about black people being independents before I knew about any of these movements. So the movement from the ground is swelling like an earthquake, and now it is up to us to make the ground tremble. It is important that we have people continue to listen, to use technology, like right now, being able to have 3 or 4 people on a radio show, whether we're doing it on national Fox News, whether Isaiah's doing it on the national stage and acting with millions of viewers, whether Judge Joe Brown is doing it on TV, or whether he's doing it on radio. it is really important that we reach down to the bottom, the concrete roots, on below the grassroots, and getting down to the streets. So I appreciate this, and I hope not only will you have Isaiah back with Judge Joe Brown, because I'd love to hear that. I certainly don't need to moderate, because I probably will keep on interjecting with my comments, because I don't know how to shut up. But if you can moderate that, Valerie, to get that out, that would be wonderful. But even past that, I hope that we can do something where people can come to actually hear the word and interact with people like ourselves. So thank you so much. Thank you again, Isaiah, for calling in. This was last minute. I reached out to him. I said, Isaiah, please call in, because this is so relative to you. And he did so. One of the most down-to-earth people that I've ever met in Hollywood. And again, Judge Joe Brown, thank you so much for extending me the opportunity. I am truly humbled and grateful, and always in a position of humble and gratitude. So thank you.
And your contact information, please, because you're on social media a lot.
Yeah, my contact for everybody is Tezlyn Figaro. Everything's under Tezlyn Figaro. Tezlyn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all Tezlyn Figaro.
Thank you.
Thank
awesome.
you, Madam
and
Figaro.
Judge Brown, Officer Stan Mason sends his love. He just texted me. He said hello. Isaiah, could you give us some final words, and then also your contact information before we toss it to the judge? And just can you just intervene? I'm reading text messages and watching the board. It's a lot going on. I'm sorry.
No, everybody knows when I have something to say, I say it. I think Twitter is very toxic, so I have to be very careful. But you can find me on Twitter. I'm verified at iWashington on Twitter. You can find me where I really enjoy the space of Instagram as at the real Isaiah Washington, ISAIAH Washington. I haven't posted because I'm waiting on some special things that I'm working on before I post again. The last time I posted January 2nd, but when I post, I'm the kind of guy, when I have something to say, I'll say it. If I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to say it. I'm not a liar. I don't roll in that space. I try to stand on truth, because there's too many of our forefathers that I stand on their shoulders that have stood on truth and integrity. So the last thing that I can do is allow someone to actually vocalize in any context that somebody's a crazy ass or feeling the spirit of Richard Pryor or something in this fake friendship shit, talking about, oh, I'm your brother, but yet I don't feel the love coming out of your interview. So I have a problem with that. I'm a man enough to say I have a problem with that. I love my wife for 23 years. We got 23 years anniversary as of yesterday on Valentine's Day. So when I see a black woman, a woman that happens to be my friend, then when I see that, I feel like, something doesn't feel right in my craw about this, then I gotta do what I gotta do. And I don't need anyone to follow me. I don't need anyone to stand next to me. I'm a grown ass man. But I know that something wasn't right on that show, and we need to all talk about it so it doesn't happen again.
Wow.
All
Great
right.
words.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, Judge, do you have anything you'd like to say to our guests before we allow our callers just to give a shout-out real quick before we wrap?
Oh, well, hey, I enjoyed this. You see, I'm not too old to learn something, and I always learn. Brother Isaiah and Sister Tezlyn, I learned something today, which is good. And just my contact information, you can find me on Twitter at Judge Joe Brown TV, but I'm not certified. I do not have the blue check, but it's me. I don't think they like me on Twitter, or at least not the Twitter people, because I don't hold my mind and I try to be what they call erudite. I hate that word, but I'll use it, and try to cut down the middle.
I'm following you right now, Judge Joe Brown TV. I'm following you right now.
And I'm looking you up, too, right now, so I can follow you.
Exactly.
You know, they're weird
Make
on
sure
Twitter.
you follow me, Judge. Can I get a follow?
Well,
I'm sorry, but
too.
Judge Brown, I will say this. I'm working on a Buffalo Soldier project, and there's a sheriff role that I have in mind for you, and it's all yours if you accept the invitation.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at Jesus.
I can ride. I had a mini ranch with 14 horses on it, And there was a project about 8 years ago dealing with the Buffalo Soldiers where I was a sergeant in that thing, and it didn't make anything, but I was in it. I can write. As a matter of fact, I got a great-uncle Booker that wound up being Sergeant Major in the 10th Cavalry. From 1881, he was in until 1902. And interestingly enough, he could pass for white. He joined the Alabama Red Red 1 and wound up coming out Sergeant Major for the Big Red 1, and they would have died if they'd known they had a black man in as top sergeant. But it is what it is. So, yeah, I'd be glad to do that. And I love riding horses. I even got the costumes. I got uniforms, blue and
yes, he's got the
blue.
hat, Isaiah. He's got a plethora of hats that would definitely fit the role.
Hey, if you follow me on my Facebook or my Twitter, Isaiah Washington on Facebook, I'm verified. I do have the blue check. I apologize for it, Mr. Brown. I am verified. But everything that I'm talking about for the rest of this year, I'm not talking about anything else but getting my Buffalo Soldier project made this year. That's all I'm talking about.
Wow, outstanding. I'm watching. Well, y'all
got
let's do that. I went to your site. I see you got the Buffalo Soldier there.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, what's the website so that we can go to it and learn more about this project?
No, there's no website on the Buffalo Soldier, but I can give you this website that's probably be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more chilling, and a little bit more fulfilling for the soul. You can go to www.gunsmatterinc.com. Is that I'm being positioned about 16,000 former military, special forces, and law enforcement as to create an alternative to the NRA.
All right. Okay. I'm going.
Well, that's good. That's good. There needs to
go
be
to
one.
www.gunsmatterinc.com, and then it'll tell you what I'm up to.
Gunsmatter.com.
Okay.
I'm headed to it right now.
Okay, so wait a minute.
All right.
For clarity, because I got to get this on the record. So, Judge Joe Brown, are you going to follow me on Twitter or what? I want to make sure.
What did you say? I'm looking right now. What did you say your site was?
It's Tezlyn F as in Frank Igaro. Tezlyn Figaro.
I will text
you too. Tezlyn, this is Nate Campbell. On Instagram. I am the Galaxy Warrior.
Wait a minute, Nate. I'm talking to Judge Joe Brown. Now, you want Tezlyn to give me a straight shot? No, somebody took over the whole show, which I appreciate for chiming in. But
it says former National Racial Justice Director.
Yes, sir.
Is that it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm following you right now.
I need that follow before don't start telling me.
Now follow me back, Judge Joe Brown TV, so we can communicate. All right.
That's what Judge Joe Brown TV.
That's right. I got it.
Joe Brown TV. And Brother Maurice, thank you for putting this together
he followed
today.
You? He put this.
Well, it's funny here. I
did
can't
he follow
get
you?
the envelope to
do I
send
need
you a
to send the
message.
text message? Okay. Well,
No,
I'll send you the message. Oh, you do. You got it. Okay, I was about to say I'll text you.
Yeah, we're following
so
each
you'll
other,
have
but
it.
for some reason that envelope isn't coming up so I can reply to you. I was going to say, greetings, good sister. Hello.
Yeah, you should have it. I followed you, so you should have it. I got
yeah,
the
but
envelope,
for some reason, Twitter isn't letting that envelope pass up here.
Okay, well, it should in a minute because I just sent you a message, so I wanted to make sure we got that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's showing that you follow me now. You're both following each other.
Okay, then. Sorry, Mark.
All right, so we did our job. We made a connection today. I really feel like all the hard work I put in is worth it. I definitely want to, again, thank everybody for chiming in. Tezlyn, thank you so much for stopping by and also inviting Isaiah Washington, whom I have loved since I think he purposely didn't say the show, so I won't say the show. So there you have it. But I thank you guys so much.
I'm sorry, Valerie. I hate to take over. I hate to say one more thing. Can I just say one more thing? shout out to
Sure.
Isaiah Washington, his anniversary yesterday on Valentine's Day. Yesterday they played Love Jones, my favorite, all-time favorite love story. Isaiah Washington was in that. Let's thank him, give him a round of applause for his contribution. And they played it on Valentine's
yes,
Day. So I just
that's right. I have that movie on I have it on DVD. I got it on, no, not VHS. I have it on the PSP. I've got it everything I could possibly find as one of my favorites. And not to mention, it is my last name, so of course I love it. But yes, man, you kicked ass.
Yes.
You did your thing. I don't know if you curse or not. It's like my second language, so excuse me. But you did your thing on that. Just like floating into the, to the scenes
and all the single
yes.
women were watching it last night, wishing and hoping they could get that type of love that was depicted in that thing. So I just had to I said, man, I didn't want to text him last night because it was Valentine's Day in respect to his wife. But today I was like, oh man, just thank you for the contribution you made in Love Jones.
It's really interesting because they tried to fire me on that movie. Jeremy Samuels, the producer, came into my trailer with some clippers in his hand and said, I got to cut these locks and this goatee off your hair, and I got to cut your goatee off because I have never seen a tenured professor from Northwest University look like you. And I said, brother, you better pack a lunch, because if you get any closer to me with those clippers, I hope you pack a lunch, because it's going to be a long fight in this trailer. I said, my director knows I'm coming off to get on the bus with his hair, so let me go on and make some history playing this. What my hair got to do with my intellect, I don't know. I think you're misinformed, but maybe 20 years from now, you will appreciate it.
Yeah, you know what, Isaiah? I hope you bring him back, because you know what? That's exactly what I noticed yesterday. I said, I forgot when it came out, but I looked and I said, this is 1997. Like, it was so much ahead of the time, and I look at it differently than what I looked at it then. I just looked at it because I love the Maxwell, and every woman gets hot watching that. And I started doing poetry in Chicago after I saw that everybody became a poet. But the point is, you are absolutely right. I noticed that too. I said, this was really ahead of the time, really showed us intellectual, in love, black love. I mean, just Renaissance black man. So, I hope you come back, because remember to ask him that, Valerie, because I really want to know, like, what went on then, but what you can share with that, on the difference between 1997 and now, where everybody got locks and everybody got dreads and everybody's a poet and everybody, it was a big time gap from then to now. So that's interesting that you said that.
Yes, we definitely. So sooner than later, Mr. Washington, sooner than later. Yes, you've got to come back. Yes. You've been tasked to do that, and you got to do what you got to do to get that check mark next to the judge's name, so he can be part of your club, part of the elite.
Hey, I'm gonna make a few calls over a couple of.
Please do.
And say, we need to get him verified.
Yes. So there you go.
All right, guys, I'm going to hop. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. All right, so guys,
bye-bye, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Washington.
Thank you. That
Thank you, Ms. Figaro.
The show went by super fast. Yes. Thank you, Tez. I don't know how to say it enough. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for you. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
And thank you for showing this show love, for inviting Mr. Washington. Yes. Wow, took it to a whole nother level. So yes, Judge and Tez, if you don't have anything else you'd like to say, I'd like to give the last 60 seconds. I apologize to guys, and I apologize to everybody whose mic I did not open. Again, Officer Stan, thank you so much, and everybody else. I think L.A., Rhonda, Bishop Scott, a lot of people are on the phone. I see Philo. Maurice, I see that you're there. But just for the two mics that are open, Maurice and Nate, if you guys quickly, as soon as you can, please give us your contact information so that we don't get cut off, because they're going to shut the lights off here in about 3 minutes. Thank you.
Nate Campbell. I also have a show called Experience the Galaxy with Nate Campbell every Saturday night at 7 p.m. That's Eastern Time. It is on Facebook Live. It is on Ustream and also on YouTube at the same time. Contact number to that show is 904-302-7220. And I also can be reached at Nate Campbell on Instagram and Nat Turner Campbell on Facebook. And you guys can hit me up anytime. Always willing to do anything to help our people progress as we go forward, trying to build, especially for those independents. I've been an independent for a long time, so when Tez said she was an independent, that was big, and I'm like, okay, she got it, I got it, cool.
Right. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate that. And Maurice, real quick, give us your contact information, and I think that's about it, guys. We're going to have to wrap the show. So Maurice, is he there? Okay, maybe not. All right, guys, thank you so much. Judge, if that's it. Wow, a lot.
Okay.
You got a movie
I'd
role.
I'd like to thank everybody that came on today. Really a good show. Maurice Dub, you didn't get him on. He dropped off, but he put it together along with you.
No, wait. Excuse me. Hey. No. We're not going to do that again. You've been getting away on my credit.
You're the executive director. He's backing you up, too. Yeah, I said he helped put it together, contacting people. I mean, on a week-to-week basis. That's a good thing.
I'm going to spank you.
I'm not thinking that. You get your credit because they hear your name all the time. Don't forget the people under you. Yeah. And Officer Stan Mason, we didn't hear
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Officer Stan Mason, we didn't hear from, but check out his production Behind the Blue Curtain. He's one of the people you need to pay attention to. He's a leader.
Yes.
And Brother Washington, Sister Figaro, hey, I appreciate you being on. And we got some wisdom and some things said today. So what is this all about? We're a little older than most of your audience probably, but a gentleman told me years ago, he was from Africa, from Nigeria. He said he remembered when he was a little boy, an old grandfatherly type said when he was a little boy, an old grandfather type took him and a few other boys down by the river and said, if there is a drought and the people start starving right here, and here, you can dig up these roots and they will feed the people. So when this guy was an old man, he said, we're starving, we've had a drought, let me take you to the river and show this. So he saved this village, these two villages. And that's how it works. We got to pass on the knowledge and the wisdom and thoughts, even if you don't agree with them, so you can at least have them in your back pocket if you need them. So anyway, thanks everybody for being here. I enjoyed it. We've got 3 more minutes before they cut us off. Well, 2 minutes and some seconds. So Valerie, go for it, my dear.
Definitely. Thank you, Judge. I appreciate you. Again, I thanks everybody who chimed in today. Love you guys to life. Please have a great weekend. ValerieDeniseJones.com. We're definitely